Shalom Aleichem, everybody, and Yishakoach to everybody at the Sha'alvim Keter Society for this really phenomenal series. I was asked to discuss engaging adults at the Seder. We have to remember that on some level, engaging adults at the Pesach Seder is very challenging because many Haggadahs are written for children. Many Haggadahs are written for little kids. Lots of activities are made for toddlers. But what about the adults? And we have to remember that the mitzvah of Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, the mitzvah of Vigat Lavincha, is indeed a mitzvah passing along the narrative of parents, passing along the narrative and the mitzvos and the themes and the messages of Pesach to their children. But the halacha is, if a family has no kids, then the adults engage in Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim with each other. And if a person is alone, so then he or she fulfills the mitzvah of Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim by themselves. So it's not just engaging our children, which is, of course, critical, but it's engaging ourselves and it's engaging the other adults at the Pesach Seder. Remember that Maaseh Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Tarfon, Shahayu Mesubim b'Vnei Brak. That was a Seder, seemingly, only with adults. So it's critical that we have to remember this fascinating element of the mitzvah of Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, of Vigat Lavincha, to each other, to the adults as well. I think we have to start by saying, like so many things, and many of us have been saying this, this needs preparation. It's very, very challenging to come to the Seder and ad-lib and to work it out when you get there. Like everything, like anything worth anything, working beforehand is key. Preparation is key. And one of the first things that this preparation will be helpful for when it comes to engaging adults is knowing your audience. Thinking about them beforehand, and if possible, speaking with them beforehand, literally asking the question, what do you want to do? What works best for you at your Pesach Seder? What kind of activities will engage the adults at your Seder? What kinds of activities will animate them? Is this an audience that would be a tad more interested in Divrei Torah at the Seder? Would they lean towards more discussions, even kinds of games or exercises or activities? But we have to prepare ahead of time to get a little bit of a sense of what they are looking for. Now, sometimes, if this is the group you have, sometimes engaging adults is as simple as assigning Divrei Torah, or assigning ideas, or assigning questions beforehand. And I've done this at Sedarim, reaching out to the adults that are coming to the Seder. Okay, you're going to share something when we get to the Arba Banim, and you're going to share something when it comes to Dayenu, and you're going to share something when it comes to the Manishtana, whatever it is. And by the way, when I say share something, maybe it's a Dvar Torah, maybe it's an idea, maybe it's a question, maybe it's a statement for discussion. But this could animate them, involving them in the Seder. Letting them know ahead of time that we're going to be counting on them. That often is all that it takes. Now, sometimes, and I was very surprised about this, but sometimes it's engaging for adults to play games, to exercises, to activities. And of course, they have to be age appropriate, but I have found that many adults enjoy activities, discussions. They can be fun games. Sometimes they're even silly just to kind of keep everybody awake. But sometimes they're thought-provoking. I'm going to give one example, but there's many variations. And if you'd like, I'm happy to share more. But I'll share one very quick example of something that has worked really well at my Seder, Baruch Hashem. Again, it's adaptable, it's modifiable, but here's one specific example. A few years ago, I made every Pesach Seder participant, every adult at the Pesach Seder received an index card. And half of, in other words, one of the sides of the index card had the words "do not relate." And the other side of the index card was written "relate." So one side says relate, one side says don't relate. And then every once in a while, at some point in the Seder here and there, I or somebody else would say a statement. So for example, the statement is, it's a thought-provoking, conversation-provoking statement. Here's the example, an example. I saw the Egyptians suffer during the 10 Makos. Believe me, I'm no fan of these evil people, but I don't understand why they had to suffer so much. That's one of the statements. And someone can put up a sign that says, do not relate. You could have a game that says, do not agree. Or relate. Yeah, The Egyptians should have suffered, but it was too much. Okay, let's talk about why HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the Makos in this way. Now again, no one specifically has to have all the answers to all the questions. This is the night of questions. But that I have found became a great exercise in participation. Everybody's awake. Everybody's participating. You got to put up a sign. Do I relate or not relate? Or we played a game very similar, agree or don't agree. Again, many examples like that, but it's thought-provoking, discussion-provoking conversations, activities, as I said, even games. Sometimes it's a silly thing. When I had a little bit of a younger crowd, you say something a little bit silly and they agree or don't agree, but again, they're involved. It's not one person talking and everybody else listening passively. It's everybody being engaged actively. Again, there's many, many examples, but the idea of engaging adults is quite critical. And by the way, when I say engaging adults, as I said before, it means engaging ourselves as well. We should be Zochei Mirz Hashem to engage the adults and all the people at our Pesach Seder this year, Mirz Hashem, as we eat the Korban Pesach in Yerushalayim.